Hey everyone, I'm Haley, and joining me today is Georgia Collier. She is our Level II Lead Catechist and the resident queen of all things CGS, and basically my favorite person on earth. She has over a decade in CGS experience and extensive training. When I first came to St. Thomas, she really was the primary influence in showing me the ropes and really influential in me falling in love with this curriculum. She is absolutely amazing. And so I thought it would be great for the kids to see her face, for you guys to see her. And we're going to talk about our curriculum, Catechesis of the Good Shepherd. We are going to abbreviate it as just CGS. And we're going to start by talking about just what CGS is. So Georgia, could you give a brief definition of how you would describe CGS to somebody that has never heard of it before?
I would love to. It's nice to be here, Miss Haley, and hi to all the kids. I just miss y'all so much because really it's the children that are catechesis of the Good Shepherd. So we love you. We miss you. But Catechesis of the Good Shepherd, it brings adults and children together for a common religious experience. And we do that in a beautiful place that's built especially for the children called the atrium. When adults want to, if they're reading a parable, and they want to contemplate and think about the parable, then we're able to go to our Bible and reread it and think about it. And for children, then what we add a little extra for them so that they're able to have a tangible feel about the parable. When you have a chance, and Haley, we'll have to do some virtual tours sometimes of some of the pieces that are in the atrium. But the atrium is a prepared environment, and for a specific parable, then we would have things for the children to work on so that they're able to go to those prepared materials and remember the words from the Bible and really contemplate and wonder on that. In this shared experience and shared environment, then it's a mutual formation experience for the adult and for the children. We're called catechists. We are not teachers. Jesus is the sole teacher, but so we bring the teachings of Jesus from the Holy Bible to the space with the children and work with them on that, and we do so solely with the guidance of the Holy Spirit.
Perfectly said, as always. So how did
explain it okay?
Oh yeah, you always do. How did you first get involved with CGS?
So I was kind of like you are with St. Thomas. I was the staff person at Emmanuel Episcopal Church here in Athens, and our rector is very passionate about catechesis of the Good Shepherd, and the parish followed suit, and we already had levels. I think that they already established levels 1, 2, and we called it 2.5 because no one had the level 3 training yet, but yet we were serving that age group, and so that was part of my role, was to that was my primary role. Was to oversee the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd program there. And so I actually, during one of my Corona cleanups, I found my certificate.
Oh, nice.
I have 3 of them now because I am trained in levels 1, 2, and 3. And I'll just go ahead and quickly explain that level 1 is for the 3 to 5-year-old child. Level 2 is for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grades. And level 3 is for 4th, 5th, and 6th grades. So and those are each divided up so that you go to training at the different levels for the different age child. I didn't mention when I was kind of giving an overview of CGS, it is based on the Montessori method. And so this is, and that's also how the Montessori divides their classrooms and their groups into those age groups. So that's how I got started. There is more training. I haven't done everything, but the training that I've done is about it's about 7 to 8 year process
Yeah.
that I've completed. The next step, what I have done and what I love to do, I never get enough from the first training.
Mhm.
The training is for a level 1, and level 2 is about 90 hours.
Mhm.
And then the level 3 is 120 hours. And I have taken each level twice at this point. And but the next step that is offered for adults is to actually train to be a trainer of
Right.
catechetics. I haven't taken that leap yet. I'm still enjoying learning and working with the children.
So can you tell us a little bit about what that training looks like and why it's so long?
Yes. Yes, it is. It is so long. So there are a couple of different ways to structure it, and the ones that I've always done are week-long trainings, and you go into a classroom with a trained instructor for about 7 hours a day for a week, and and then you have to go back again the next summer for the second week because you do have to have the 90 hours. But it really is a beautiful and wonderful formation opportunity for the adult. Even if the person in training has no intention of working in the atrium with the children, then you receive so much of it
Yeah.
for yourself. One of my favorite things about this method is I've got two favorite things about this method that I'll share. I love the fact that it reminds you to think as a child.
Yes.
And I find that for myself, every time that I step back and think of things and they're in very simple ways, I'm able to understand it and grasp it, and then I'm able to kind of take those steps that are necessary to continue wondering about it. But I love that they everything is presented, and it's not a simple process at all. It's actually very involved.
Yeah.
But it is very simple in the context of how you step back and think of things. And I just think that there's a real beauty in that. Also, the other thing that I love about this is when I reflect on how I was raised,
Mhm.
and I was raised in a typical Sunday school program, and seems like every year that we started Sunday school and went up to our next age group, that we would be with our instructor, and our Sunday school leader would start at Genesis 1. And we would maybe get to Exodus by the end of the year. And we would, again, the next year, we'd always start right back at Genesis 1. Do you know of anybody else that has that experience? So Catechesis of the Good Shepherd actually just turns that completely upside down, and we start with the good news. We start with Jesus. And that's where the child comes in, and we, they have the opportunity to really connect with and to experience the way a child would contemplate that enjoyment and that love of God. So it was like when I first learned about it, it was like nothing I had ever learned, but it did flip it on its head. Back to, I think we were talking a little bit about the formation courses,
Yes.
the training, and why it takes so long. So in the atrium, then the child will have different opportunities in our main categories within the atrium are prayer, baptism, the liturgy, parables, And we also have a space where they can learn about geography, biblical geography. That's where I need to go back and study that some more, because that's like not where Miss Georgia excels. But so the children in the Montessori environment are able to go where they feel called and into these different spaces, and really go into and go deeper into the area of interest that they find the most fulfilling for them. So that's a lot. That's a lot of work that we have to do. In level 1, I think, oh gosh, Haley, I'd have to look it up, but there's a number of presentations, and in the formation course, then the formation leader goes through each presentation, and that leader presents it to us as adults as if we were the child. And then after the presentation, then we have adult discussion on that presentation. So it is very involved. Alongside that, we also work on creating our materials. So if you are a hands-on person, or if you love art projects, then that's your time to shine, is to be working on those materials. And then there's also, in the Montessori world, they are called album pages, and we write, so by the end of the course, then as a group, you write your album pages together so that you have a complete album with every presentation available, and you can review it. We might know an album page as a teacher's lesson plan these days. And it will it's a great way to go back and reflect. And anytime that I'm going into the atrium and working with children, then I always review my album pages before I present a presentation.
With us being mobile, we have our presentations divided up into categories. Like we have our model altar now, and we have our parables and Advent, and they're all in these clear rolling boxes so that we can roll them in and out of the trailer. And I feel like every time we've been able to fill up a box, it's like, and I have my own little album page at home, it's like that visual representation, like, okay,
that's right,
this album is done in this clear box. One box down.
And you've done such a beautiful job in making it mobile, and still making it beautiful and interesting for the child to just want to be drawn in and touch and to experience all of those beautiful materials. But as the catechist, then it's important to go through the training and also to be a part of writing those album pages and to build the materials, because all of that helps to form a person and helps you understand this material that you will be potentially presenting to the child.
Absolutely. I've been thinking about defining characteristics, and I feel like for me, the two things that I would say set CGS apart is that it's a very meditative nature, which is unusual in our present culture for a religious context for children, really any context for children, and it's centered around prayer. Can you speak to that, on what you would say are some of the unique and defining characteristics of CGS?
Well, absolutely. I think that, our culture is fast moving. We're go, 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 go. I think that sometimes when the child walks into the atrium, it may be the one time or a few times during the week that they have a quiet place to actually, and how can we connect to God if we're not being quiet, if we're not being still? Be still and know that I am God. And so that is what the atrium, that's one of the most beautiful blessings of the atrium, is it allows the child to come in and just be. The catechist may choose to work with a child on a presentation, or the child may just spend some time, enjoying the space, enjoying the materials. At the center of every atrium is a prayer table. And what the children, I think in all of my experience, whenever I've, in every level, then the first child who arrives, then they set the prayer table. And this is something that, you can very easily achieve at home too. But I know in our atrium at St. Thomas, then you've made some beautiful prayer cards, and the child might lay down a prayer cloth and place a cross, place a small figurine of the Good Shepherd, and then place their prayer cards on the table, and it just sets the tone for that moment in time, and just to be still and to contemplate, and it allows our brains to quiet,
Mhm.
so that we may wonder and truly enjoy that time
Yeah.
with God.
Think that's something that particularly is something I've carried on into my own personal life at home. I know we were talking, and this leads into the next question. What are some tips for parents trying to implement this at home? Even simple little things like when I was first learning about the prayer table, I was like, "Hey, I can do this at my house. I can
Uh-huh.
set up a little space. I can light a candle, and I can create this ritual that's very peaceful and create this beautiful environment." So, can you speak to that on some tips that parents can implement at home?
Absolutely. And so I think that one of the most simple things to do is, whenever we are reading from the Holy Bible in the atrium, then we set the tone by lighting a small candle. And and we let the candle burn until we're finished reading from the Bible. And so that might be something that you can simply add at the supper table for families. And just during the blessing, then, allow the parent to light the candle. You can have the Bible there with you, and along with your blessing, just
Yeah.
read a verse or two, and then the candle can burn throughout supper to just kind of remind us of the presence of
Yeah.
God right here within our family. And and I do love to, if one of the first things that you learn in your formation training is not to blow out a candle like a birthday candle, but you actually have a snuffer, and
Yeah,
children love to snuff the
they do.
candle. So having a snuffer, they sell them, and they're very reasonably priced on Amazon. That's where I
Oh,
usually find mine.
yeah.
So every family can have a snuffer in their home for the children. um, I think that setting up the traditional spaces, times, having a schedule of when you want to have family prayer is very important to
Yes.
some of our
Yes.
children on Easter morning. So
Over
that would be a
Easter.
great thing to, incorporate the ring of a bell whenever it's
Mhm.
uh, time to have a little Bible time or
Mhm.
prayer time, and just
Yeah.
anything that kind of sets that tradition in place.
Yeah, reinforcing that tactical nature with Montessori education and with CGS, the touching of things with their hands is so important, and it's
It
very grounding. And I know even adults now through yoga and different practices where they are grounding themselves to something physical, they find that to be very meditative, and that is very, very helpful for me as, a 30-year-old woman, much less a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old. So it's an
absolutely.
ageless concept for sure. And we'll be making, more videos, but it's really we want to encourage parents that, the videos are great and we're not judging parents on screen time. We're not doing that. But just that encouragement that whatever they can, even if they just gather some sticks in the yard and paint them, or like you said, they make their own prayer card and they write out the verse and then they draw a picture for it and they place it on their prayer table, so it's this physical element that they can see and touch and experience that we really find valuable.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another thing is song, singing songs with, I'll encourage people to go and kind of explore the Catechesis of the Good Shepherd website, which
Yeah,
is cgsusa.org.
we'll link
And
that.
if you go under shop, let's see if I found it's, you go to the shop, and then if you go to uh, Good Shepherd the shepherd's closet
Yeah.
material. Then
Mhm.
they have on there some books that we use in the atrium
Love
called
that.
Sing with Joy and
Mhm.
Songs of Love. And they're very simple, and they come with a CD if you still have a CD player. They may come with with a
Digital
different
file.
option these days. I don't know, but I have the CD. But I definitely recommend that. We, in the atrium when we're doing a presentation, then many times we include songs so that they can take that home in their minds and connect with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is kind of like a news flash for the future, but George and I have talked about having a Zoom call for just the kids where they could come on and maybe we could lead a lesson with them and just for us to catch up for all the kids to see each other. So everyone stay tuned. We'll be putting more information out about that. And I know we'll love to just see all of the kids together because we miss everybody and we miss each other.
Yes, I always learn so much from the children,
Oh,
and so I miss that so much.
me too.
And yeah, to think like a child, to act like a child, to be like a child, they always inspire me. So I would love that opportunity. I miss those kiddos.
Yes, Georgia, thank you so much for your time today. I know we could probably talk for another 3 hours about CGS and just go
It
on and
it
on.
is a wonderful, beautiful thing to talk about, and so it is a joy, and and I think we'll have plenty more opportunities to do
We,
just that. I
we
hope
will.
so.
We will. I am so grateful for you. You are one of my favorite people, and I'm so glad that you gave your time today to talk with
Aw.
me.
Well, the feeling's mutual, Miss Haley. I've loved the time. Thank you so
Can't
much.
wait to see you in person.
I know it. It won't be long.
It won't be long. Talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.